Hi, everybody. I'm back again. And I have a cat who does not want, doesn't, she hates sitting on my lap while I'm talking. It's just the way it is. I was kind of hoping she'd be able to cuddle with me, but that's fine. I'm currently wrapped up, cuddly and cozy because it is really cold outside. Well, okay, not relative. Okay, relatively cold. Um, Let me take a look here. It is 3 degrees, but it's snowing outside. I'm in the lower mainland, so it's a moist cold. It's just seeps into your body, so it's not the same as like when you're out in the Midwest and it's like this dry cold and it gets to be like -50. I've lived through that too. Didn't like it there either. It's just a different kind of ick and a little more dangerous. This is just cold and unpleasant rather than possibly can kill you. Anyway, so tonight will also be an interesting night. I am continuing to read on with the Sword and the Rose. For those people who are just tuning in, that is my dad's novel, one of my dad's novels. I am on chapter 19 of it tonight. If you are just tuning in tonight for the first time, I highly recommend you go back to past broadcasts in order to see what was going on before, and then you can get an idea of what was going on. Because right now we're closing in on like 2/3 of the way through, basically. We were on 2/3 yesterday, so now we're going into like the final third. Um, I have a feeling this is going to be part of the story that where I'm going to be really, 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 really frustrated. So prepare for screaming, shouting, and general gnashing of teeth. Because, like I said, there's a lot of structural changes I want to make to it. I keep on saying this every night, but it's because it's really, really true, and there's just stuff that needs to change in order for me not to be entirely annoyed by it. Because other than that, I love the premise of the story. I just don't like. I really don't like the fact, like some of the stations and some of the attitudes of the characters, even though it's because it leans so far into like this medieval telling. Yet on like now that we're seeing more and more possibilities for this, we're gonna get all like there's evidence that a lot of female uh, historical figures have been like written out of history or have been downplayed. And this is not a new thing. This is something that's been going on for a while and it's been very pervasive. Um, so as a result, it to simply say to take everything at face value for history, it's disingenuous and that's just my opinion. Many people can have opinions. But this is wherein I kind of get a little heated on it, and I have a feeling tonight is the night. Tonight is the night where I'm gonna have the rant and the meltdown. So you've been warned. I mean, it could be fun. It could be like another kitten rampage. Who knows? But for now, without further ado, I'm going to continue on. Chapter 19 of The Sword and the Rose. Forsyth looked around. I'd have thought Melgathop would be at this meeting. I'd have thought so myself, said Gwalsor, but I'm certain he hasn't deserted. He hasn't deserted to the rebels. No, I'd not. I'd not thought of that myself. I'd not thought of that myself, said Forsyth hastily. Only that it be surprising he bean't here. Gwelser smiled inwardly at the way the accent shifted, then said, Well, we haven't the time to wait for him. The question is, what do we do now? We have the castle, but Marquian's men are between us and any reinforcements. Worse yet, we're not entirely certain of who will support us and who won't. Well, Mardel dar Hendrav and Fasik dar Lothwell, Lothwell. Hi, I hear you. Yes, I know you're not happy. Nobody's happy right now. I will let you out in a little bit, okay? Can you come sit down? You will survive. I have faith in you. Well, Mardel den dar Hendrav and Fasik dar Lothwil Lothwithel be outside with dar Irrelevant. What of Kindle dar Esric? He's against me as well, is he not? Yes, him and Horrell dar Natagun as well. Vidal dar Osinin and Nantis dar Yanel. They'll be for you, though. They may not hurry too much to come to your aid. Hodar dar Caralno and Loftus dar Matreg should be with you, but their holdings are small, and they can't supply great forces. Even so, small forces are better than none at all. And what of Kerfal dar Osarwick and Martian dar Narathal? I wouldn't be sure, and I doubt if either of them are sure themselves. Well, there is one thing a little more positive. I doubt that Markian will attempt to storm the castle, at least not until he's managed a full muster of his own forces. True enough, they be building engines out there already, though. I saw a ram being made and a ballista. So all that remains, Guelser said, is to hold the castle and to try to slip messages out to those knight holders we think are loyal, trying to organize attacks inside and out. Borith nodded. I'll look to some of the archer lads then. I think we'd best wait a day or two before we send anyone out. The rebels will be alert for a while, now that we've stirred them up. Brennan still wore the brigandine and had the sword belted at her waist. She saw Guelser's glance at the sword and spoke, before he could ask a question. Markian and his lot are likely to attack, are they not? And we have few enough men to hold the walls, so I will be ready to fight as long as necessary. Then her bleak expression broke, to be replaced by a smile. Perhaps I will set a new fashion among the ladies. Okay. Mm, mm, mm. Well, Sir grinned. And have the smiths all working themselves to death, turning out swords for the ladies as well as for the men? Now that is a grim thought. Then, too, think of all the trouble the dressmakers will be put to having to learn their trade again, and this time in iron. Okay, yeah, yeah. Because there's like they start laughing about it. The thought of a dressmaker, hammer in hand, wearing a leather apron over her dress, sweating over a forge fire was too much for Gwalsor, and he broke into laughter. Some similar thought apparently struck Rinnan, for she also began to laugh. Yeah, it's at this point where I like looked up the fact that there have historically been female blacksmiths as well. They're just not really talked about much, but they're there. They they do happen. I mean, all you have to do is like eh, yeah, is because of the way he thought he was going into historical fact. And yeah, for the most part, yeah, I'm just okay. I'm gonna stop being incensed now because instead of being incensed, what I'll just simply do is actually just, rewrite it. And not even like rewriting history. Just gonna I want to do some more research on like just some gentle research on it. Um I have some books on women in medieval history for just this reason and what kind of roles. Although it looks like from what I could research so far is that there was a lot more women had a lot of more of administrative kind of roles when they were nobles. Not all women, but there were some women who were in high rank and who did administration. And I could see that. It would make sense. They aren't necessarily off fighting. Anyway, I continue on. Has Jadal talked to you? He was worried about you on the way in. Yes, he saw me. She smiled at the memory. He took two eye blinks. He took two eye blinkings time to see that I was standing up on my own feet, then rushed off muttering something about my Lord Baron needs me. He was concerned for his mother, but he doesn't dare show it to the other pages, or to his mother for that matter. Oh, there we go. This is my favorite. Okay. So I changed that. So instead of saying, the thought of the dressmaker, hammer in hand, wearing a leather apron over her dress, sweating over a forge fire, was too much for Gwalsor, and he broke into laughter. He paused. Brennan was not laughing with him. What do you think happens when there is only one blacksmith in town and he is killed in battle? Many a blacksmith's widow has taken on her husband's mantle in his absence. That's actually quoted from a book. Yes. Uh-huh. See, and this is the other part I hate about this part of the story. We cut to another scene. Yeah, this is. Mm, mm. Markian Darharelevant came awake suddenly, knowing that he was not alone in his tent. Before he could call out, a hand covered his mouth. He saw dark Lafetta features looking down on him. But before he could really even wonder how the man had gotten into his guarded tent in the middle of the army, a dagger pommel hit his forehead. Unconsciousness closed over him. Early the next morning, someone was rapping on Gwalsor's door. My Lord Baron, are you awake? There's a disturbance in the rebel camp. Gwalsor sat up. Just a moment. With enemies all around the castle, and an assault possible at any time, he had not undressed completely, so it was possible. Sorry. So it was a very short time later he was on the wall looking at the besiegers. There were at least two tents on fire, and the sounds of fighting were clear. Do you think one of our relief forces has arrived earlier than we expected? Asked Walsor. No way of telling, answered Forraith. There's not enough light to see banners, and we can't make out any of the slogans. Malgathup was at the Baron's shoulder, speaking softly. I think maybe someone find Markian intent with throat cut and badge of rival on floor. Alliance never very strong. Markian die. Knock center out. Quelster sharply turned sharply to look at him. Did you? Malgathup shrugged. Hanged or knife, Darharelevant lose life. You eat because it happened the best way for us? Quelster frowned, then realized Malgathup was right. This is the kind of thing I should know nothing about. What's that, my Lord Baron? Wellsor looked at his man for a moment, then nodded. Exactly. He turned to Foraith. Would it be worth our while to do a sortie now, or to add to the confusion? Foraith frowned. Best not, my Lord Baron. Our folk have have just had something of a fight taking the castle back, and we still be repairing shields and armor from that. And going into a night fight, that'd be bad business altogether. Wellsor nodded. You're right, of course. Oh, well. In the full light of the morning, they could see that there was still consternation in the camp of the rebels. I see Dar Harelevant's banner is gone, Balsor said. It is, and so is Dar Harelevant. Hindrav's, answered Foraith. He clicked his tongue. Still leaves too many for us to fight. But you see how their camps are set up? I guess that none of them trust the others. I've a feeling, though, said Foraith, being careful of his accent, that they'd all join together if we rode out against them. They wouldn't be a very strong coalition, but we don't have a large enough force to take advantage of their lack of unity. If our first reinforcements come up in any strength, then they might just fall apart. Well, Galsor drummed fingers on his leather cuff. Perhaps so, said Foraith, but on the other hand, they find themselves held together for fear of reprisals if they lose. They spent the day repairing and refurbishing armor, sharpening weapons, and making ready for the fight that would come sooner or later. Wellsor, in the time when he was not seeing to his own weapons and armor, walked around talking to the men, hiding his own concern about the situation they were in. Brennan let herself be seen as well. She is still dressed in her brigandine and wearing her sword. The bandage was gone from her cheek, and the wound could be seen. It was not so bad as it might have been, a mere thumb joint's length across her cheek. And Galsor felt a stab of anger that Marquian had escaped with only a cut throat. She approached him. You appeared troubled, my Lord Baron. He forced a smile. Only that we have no chance to be alone, lady. She returned the smile. We could slip off to your rooms or mine. And without a doubt, someone would be coming to disturb us within minutes to tell us that more troops were arriving, or were fleeing, or the Grand Dragon of Cothermac was landing on the roof of the keep tower. She laughed. You're right. We best restrain ourselves until the time is more propitious. 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 That just sounds ridiculous. Okay. Gwalsor was awakened again in the middle of the night. My Lord Baron, Marshal Foraith bids me tell you there's fire and fighting in the rebel camp again, said the messenger. Gwalsor blinked, wiped his hand across his eyes, and said, Tell him I'll be there directly. Yes, my lord. What's Malga done this time, he wondered, as he put on the few clothes he had taken off. Shortly thereafter, he joined Foraith and some others on the walls. What's happened? My Lord Baron, this man here was on duty on the wall. I'll let him say for himself what he saw. The man was a youngster, the sort who would have drawn this duty by reason of low rank. His face was thin, and a patchy fuzz was showing on his cheeks. Okay, and give me a second, guys. I'm gonna have to pause. Yeah, what's up?